Hi, I'm Scott Mentzer with Orchard Home Mortgage, and this is your weekly mortgage update. Let's take a look at last week's mortgage rates. Mortgage rates improved again last week for a second week in a row as concerns about the global banking system continue to lead markets to believe that the Fed will not be able to raise rates as high as was expected just a few weeks ago. Let's take a look at the rate forecast for this week. This week could see some of the most volatile mortgage rates we've seen in months, with rates moving day to day as well as during the day, depending on how the Fed meeting plays out and if there is any more fallout in the banking sector. This is a good week to stay in close contact with your mortgage professional. Let's take a look at what's affecting rates this week, and there's mainly one item, only one item, the Fed. The Fed meets this week, and for the first time in over a year, there is a question if it will raise its policy rate and by how much. The Fed will release its policy statement at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, along with a forecast of its policy rate called the dot plot, followed by a press conference by Fed Chair Powell. This is the first time the Fed will be able to comment on the recent banking crisis events after being in a media blackout period ahead of the FOMC meeting. Depending on what is said and how markets react, we could see rates fall lower or move quickly higher. So what does this actually mean? The Fed has been on a media blackout for the last 2 weeks due to their meeting tomorrow. So they've not been able to comment about their stance on the banking crisis that has occurred in the last 2 weeks. Most, though, are speculating that they will raise rates at least 25 points to bring up their Fed rate another quarter percentage points. Though some feel they might not. So depending on what they do, if they do continue to raise rates, this will have a negative effect on mortgage rates, causing them to go higher. If they should decide that the banking crisis is enough of an issue to pause their rate increases, then that will be better for mortgage rates, and they could either stay where they're at or go down. But again, no one is sure what will happen due to the blackout. Most people are speculating, though, that they will continue to raise rates. Just a quick scam alert I wanted to bring to you. I had read about a couple new scams that are going on. One is an ATM scam with tap to pay. And when you go to the ATM machine to check out, you're not able to insert your card, and there'll be someone standing there, and they'll say, oh, just use the tap to pay. And when you do that, you will take out your cash. But when you leave, the machine for some reason doesn't close out, and it leads up a screen, do you want another transaction? And if you forget to do that, the person that was standing there can walk up and hit yes. It won't require you to put in your PIN or anything again, and they can take out additional cash. And what they do is they've actually put glue into the slot so that you can't insert your card, and then you would have to use the tap to pay. So if you do use the tap to pay, then just make sure at an ATM machine you close out your transaction. This doesn't mean it's not safe to use your tap to pay on your credit card. It actually is a safer way because each transaction is unique. And even if there were someone skimming, when you do the tap to pay, they can't use those encryption codes for another transaction. It can only be used once. So the tap to pay is really a safe way to use your credit card. And the other scam that I read about is a scam at the self-checkout. And what happens here is someone will go and to the self-checkout, scan a gift card, and not complete the transaction. And then you'll come up, and if you don't notice that there's already an item on your transaction list at the self-checkout, there'll be a gift card, say for $20, on your receipt when you start. And then you'll check out your items, and at the end, your total amount will be $20 more, or it could be $50 more, or $100 more, whatever they used for that gift card. They do the gift card, and then they leave because it was ran through the checkout, and it's now on your order. You're paying for it, and they have the gift card. If this were to happen to you, you should go to customer service immediately to have this removed. Again, the best thing is to, when you ever go to self-checkout, is always make sure that the balance is zero when you start and there aren't any other items on your list when you begin your transactions. So they were just the two things I saw this week that I thought I'd like to share with you. It's always good. Everybody seems to be trying to scam today. So everyone needs to be on their guard to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Well, that's all I have for this week. Thanks for tuning in to the Mortgage Update. I'm Scott Mentzer, Orchard Hill Mortgage. Have a great week, and hopefully I'll see you again next week.